Hey, so you may be wondering how to level up your gathering proficiency, at a decent rate. Gathering is in the action of collecting herbs or plants or flowers out in the wild or on your protected lands, and you raise your gathering proficiency by 1 point or 2 point or 3 points, depending on how much labor is used to actually gather your plants or your crops. You have to be careful because some plants and crops actually go into the farming category. So if you are planting like barley or hay or rice, things like that nature, it doesn't count for your gathering proficiency. So going and planting a bajillion crops may sound like a good idea, but you can see we have 32,000 in gathering, and I definitely did not pick 32,000 flowers. That would drive me insane. So there is a quicker way to actually level up your gathering, and then also you don't have to wait for those plants to actually mature. There's a quicker way to do this, and it's also potentially a way to make money as well. It revolves around actually converting items into different things. So, like I said, you have to get familiar with what is actually a gathering material or what is a farming material. So you look in here, we're in the crafting section. You go to materials, and you'll see it has all this stuff right here. Different types of things. And we are looking for flowers. So we're actually in the wrong thing. So there's so many different subcategories. So we are in raw goods. So this is the very basic stuff. So we are looking for flowers, because gathering flowers, that raises your gathering proficiency. So the other thing that works is herbs. Herbs also raise your gathering proficiency. So flowers, I'm going to click search. So this is going to bring up every kind of flower that's on the auction house currently. What you want to do is you want to sort by price. So you have all these flowers now here set up. You sort by price. So now as you go down, you're going to see the cheapest flower to actually get. So right now on this server, Ta Yang, the clover is the cheapest flower to actually buy at 1 silver and 25 copper each. So we could buy those, and if you scroll over onto the flower here, it says you can spend 5 labor points to process 14 dried flowers. So people don't know this, that when you use your labor points to make these dried flowers, they actually go into your gathering proficiency. So if I were to buy these 10 clovers, I could buy them, convert them into 14 dried flowers, and I would raise my gathering proficiency by 5 points. So that is a lot quicker than actually gathering 1 or 2 flowers at a time and waiting for a clover to grow out in the wild. So what you're going to want to do to make money off of this is keep an eye on how much the dried flowers actually sells for, and also look for other cheap flowers. So we see we have a whole bunch of azazels now, and they're all at 180. So we could buy a whole bunch of azazels, and azazels, they give us 12 dried flowers. So it's a little bit over a 1-to-1 ratio. So now we're going to go in search dried flower and see how much the dried flower is actually selling for. So we pull up the dried flower, and you can see the dried flower is selling for 110, roughly 1 silver and 10 copper. So if we take the azazels and we buy these guys for so these are all seeds. You have to be very careful not to buy seeds. Again, all these are seeds. You have to be very, very careful not to buy them for seeds. So if we take these guys and buy them for 1 silver and 77 copper, we convert them into 12 dried flowers, we're roughly going to lose like maybe a few copper each time that we convert them, because we're going to make 12. Think of it about as a 1-to-1 ratio. So we're going to sell them for about 1 silver and 10 copper. So we're going to lose roughly around 60 copper each time we do this. It will be a little bit less because we do make 12 dried flowers when we convert them. So we are going to make, it's going to cost us a little bit less than that. So every 50 bunches of azazel, will actually turn into 60 dried flowers. So, you know, factor that in. The other thing, like I said, is that you can also check out other flowers. Different flowers give different amounts of dried flowers. We'll go back to the raw goods over here, into the flowers. The very first one, the clover, is actually the cheapest, and we can actually make money on the clover. You see, we have 10 clovers right here at 1 silver and 25 copper each. When we convert them into dried flowers, we're going to get 14 dried flowers, and we can sell the dried flowers for one silver and 10 copper each. So we are actually going to make money by buying the clover. So we'll go ahead and buy the clover and disenchant that into the dried flowers and then selling it on the auction house. So right there, we're either going to make money or break even with the auction house fees and such. But there's a great way. So we just bought 20 clovers. I'll show you in a second how to actually combine them and raise your gathering proficiency. So we're going to raise it by 10 points right there. Another thing, like I said, is herbs. Herbs also count as gathering. So you can do the exact same thing with herbs. And herbs are actually easier to sell because the stuff they make, herbs, are mushrooms and thistle, bay leaf. Those things all turn into medicinal powder. Medicinal powder is used for all the crafting for potions and also some high-level specialty potions, but all the basic mana and health potions, they use medicinal powder. So the mushroom here is the cheapest item to buy at 1 silver and 97 copper. We can buy a bunch of these guys and then we can disenchant them. You can see as you keep buying them, the price will rise, but there is a lot of mushrooms to buy that you could potentially buy around about 2 silver each. We're going to go and take a look and see how much medicinal powder sells for. So type in medicinal. And medicinal powder is selling for 1 silver and about 40 copper each. So you may be thinking you're going to lose money again. You might lose a little bit, but the mushroom actually breaks down into 15 medicinal powder. So it gets very, very close to the actual price. If you buy them for 2 silver each, and you convert them down into medicinal powder, the price per medicinal powder is roughly around like 150 or so. So it's very, very close. I'll get you the exact number right now. And there, again, are other items that produce more medicinal powder. So if we actually crunch the numbers here, so if we buy 10 of the medicinal or mushroom, 10 of the mushroom at 2 silver each, that's going to cost us 20 total silver. When we disenchant those guys, we're going to get 15 medicinal powder. So we divide that by 15, and that brings us our cost down per medicinal powder at 1.33. So 1 silver and 33 copper. So currently, right now, we can make 6 copper, or roughly with the auction house fees, we'll break even by buying all these mushrooms, disenchanting them down, and you can see some of them are extremely cheap right here. So these are extremely cheap, and we can definitely make money on these guys right here. And you can see no information exists. Someone bought those really, really quick. And the reason is someone kind of manipulated the system here, and they placed 1 mushroom at a small price, hoping that other people wouldn't notice and start putting items down here. So this 1 mushroom right here is making everyone that wants to list an item, like a mushroom, see that this is the lowest price. So you go over here. If we were to put in a mushroom, it brings up the lowest price. So people typically undercut and try and put them as cheaper. So someone put 1 mushroom there to trick everyone into thinking that that's the real mushroom price. The real mushroom price is actually 2 silver. So what he's doing is he's put that 1 mushroom up there. If someone buys it, he's going to put that mushroom right back up there again and hope for suckers to keep on putting mushrooms at the 1 silver and 20 copper, and he's making a lot of money off of that. So again, you can see people are actually doing it. You have more mushrooms right here. They just got placed up here. You have another group of mushrooms. These guys are 170 or so. So if we keep refreshing, we can see people that are going to potentially put more mushrooms up, and they're going to put them up around this price. So you can manipulate the system because people don't do their research. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and grab a bunch of mushrooms. I don't like to grab the single tier mushrooms because it takes a lot. You need 10 of these mushrooms to disenchant. So what I like to do is go and look and grab all bunches that are high amounts because you need a lot of these guys. So we're going to go and buy all these mushrooms up because as we just crunch the numbers, we're actually going to make money on this transaction. And it's also going to raise our gathering proficiency. So we're going to buy a bunch of these guys. So we gathered about 100 of those mushrooms. We're going to go collect them from the auction house mailbox now. And you don't need anything at all special to actually, do this. You just use a little bit of labor. You have to wait for the mailbox to load up and get all your purchases. So you can see these are all the items that we just purchased. We can click there to grab everything. Grab everything there. We'll open up our proficiency so you can see the gathering skill leveling up. So now we have all these mushrooms. We have 1,000 mushrooms right here, and these are the clovers that we just bought. I'm actually going to hold on to the clovers, but I'm going to shift right-click on the mushrooms, and you can see it's turning into medicinal powder, and you can see that the gathering level is going up by 5 at a time every 10 mushrooms that we turn into 15 medicinal powder. So it goes very, very quick. You can see every time it's done, boom, medicinal powder. They just keep popping up. It's around 2 or 3 seconds for this. And your gathering proficiency will level up fairly quickly. Part of the reason you want to actually level up your gathering proficiency is because you can get large seed bundles once you get to 15,000 gathering, and then there's more seed bundles that unlock at 30,000, 45,000, and 60,000 as well. So once you get to 15,000 in gathering, we are going to go out of this just a little bit. We'll open this menu. So once you get to 15,000 in gathering, you're able to make these seed bundles. And this is from the Farmer's Workstation. So you can see this one costs 45,000, 60,000, 30,000, 45,000, 15,000. So once you get to 15,000, you can actually make these guys. And these guys are a guaranteed money maker. So once you actually get to 15,000, you can make an endless amount of money by making, say, Azazel seed bundles. All it takes is 10 seeds. You take 10 seeds from the merchant. You go buy thousands of seeds. If you need to, you can go ahead and buy the Shanking's Blessing. I believe that, I don't know how to pronounce that. So you go buy the Blessing from the Farmer Workstation or from the Blue Salt vendor, and you make those 10 seeds and one of these blessings into a seed bundle. It costs 2 labor, and that labor again goes into your gathering proficiency. So every time you make one of these, you're gaining 2 labor. So it's a slow process, but it will gather you, and you will make money guaranteed on these until people bring the prices like super, super low. You're not going to make a killing on them because prices are already fairly low, but last I checked, this blessing item was around 15 silver each. So 15 silver. The seeds cost, anywhere between 1 silver and 4 silver for the lower costing seeds. So the max price is like 50 to 60 silver to make one of these. And you can sell these on the auction house probably for like, 65, 60, 70. And the reason they sell is because in these bundles, you actually get the worms that is needed. You have to have worms to go fishing. So people buy these bundles up, plant them, gather them so they can get the worms. They need the bait worms, so bundles are always going to be in demand, and you should always be able to make a little bit of money with bundles. The hard part is, again, getting to 15,000. So to get to 15,000, you want to buy like a ton of mushrooms, a ton of cheap flowers, and then disenchant those guys, because as you can see, our gathering proficiency is going up fairly quickly. You also do want to plant, crops and gather them, but it takes a lot of time. You have to wait for them to grow, and it's not as efficient as buying some, mushrooms, disenchanting them, selling the medicinal powder, and then doing that all over again. You may have to wait a little bit until the mushroom price goes, back down, because if you buy 5,000 mushrooms, you're definitely going to affect the price. The price is going to get higher, and then you're also going to flood the market with the medicinal powder, because the medicinal powder is used for potions and such, but if you throw 5,000 or 10,000 medicinal powder on the auction house at once, the price is going to drop, because other people are doing the same thing. So you do have to spread it out, periodically. You don't want to just do a whole massive 15,000 mushrooms, disenchant them in one day, and then try and sell 20,000 medicinal powder in one day, because you're going to end up losing, a decent amount of money. But it is definitely worthwhile to get the gathering proficiency up. Because again, once you get to 15,000, you can almost always make money by selling these seed bundles. Seed bundles, again, need the farmer's workstation. So that's about it for gathering in a nutshell. If you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comment section. I will get out some more videos on other proficiencies as well, because there are some secrets and tips to level up a lot of the proficiencies.